We are now at the 10th race of the season in the Wawa Cup Series for 2025, though we are not at the third way mark of the season. We'll get that next week. We're still very excited for this one here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Last year, this race saw 9 caution flags. Don't expect that here tonight because it's going to be a completely different Bristol race from what we have ever seen on the channel. 125 laps. No pit stops are required, so we're going to go 125 laps all the way through without a mid-race break, and it's going to be a fascinating race to see who can hold on in the lap traffic, who has the speed in their car, who has their speed in the long run. It's going to be a fascinating one here for the Krispy Kreme 500. We're under the lights at the Bristol Motor Speedway here on a Friday night in the 10th race of the Wawa Cup Series 2025. Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to the Bristol Motor Speedway here in Bristol, Tennessee. We are here for the 10th race of the season in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. 9 races in, 9 different winners, and you're looking at the guy starting on the pole position and you're thinking we're going to get to 10 here tonight because Blaine Keys got the pole last night here in the Krispy Kreme 500 pole qualifying session. Blaine Keys, as you very well know, Matt, is a driver who is very good here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and you can very easily have a chance at getting his first win of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. And also, on top of that, tying Nicholas Sam video for the all-time wins list here tonight. We'll just have to see how it all goes down. But I am joined alongside Matt Chuck once again for the call of this one. And Matt, last week we saw Duncan Ward absolutely dominate Darlington. Will we see Blaine Keys do so? Now that he has an opportunity starting on the pole, his first pole of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series.
Yeah, I mean, it should definitely, it's a good opportunity here for him tonight. I know some people, won't mention any names, have kind of counted him out the past few weeks, but, you know, this is obviously a guy who we know is a very legitimate championship contender. I still think he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight, even though he is a short track ace and he starts on the pole here. I mean, you look a couple rows back. I mean, Logan Williams knows how to wheel it around these types of tracks. Nathan Smith has been bad fast. Isaac Nichols is around there too. And don't count out Tanner Parton has been kind of an unsung hero this season. Braden Perez. So there's a lot of heavy hitters here in this top 10 alone who are going to challenge him tonight. But the guy should be a back-to-back winner in the truck series here. And I think he's going to have a good shot here tonight if he can keep this car clean at scoring his second straight win here at Bristol.
And we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Of course, he won the Truck Series race here back in September, though that was the last race that we ran the old version of the Bristol Motor Speedway on. We reverted to the original version of this racetrack, the original version that came in the game, and I used the Freddie and Sean version for 10 years, and I tell you what, we can never figure it out, so I'm like, let's go to the original creators of the game and what they put together for us. And what we are going to see here tonight is probably, and I don't want to get everyone's hopes up too much, but probably going to be one of the better Bristol races that we have seen on the channel. The way this is going to work out is very interesting. As I mentioned at the top of the show, no pit stops in this race here tonight. We are just foregoing that. We do not want there to be any pit road shenanigans. So we're just going to pretend that these guys don't have to do it. And we don't really have to pretend because they can, in fact, go the whole distance. With that, there is going to be virtually no tire wear in this race, which will allow these guys to go all out pretty much the entire way in 125 laps. But the big thing that these drivers are going to run into as this race goes along, we will probably see some long green flag runs here tonight, is lap traffic. And if you know anything about the next-gen car in real life, you know that it's hard to pass cars. Well, that's the case here at Bristol in these cars. And the race leader can get stuck behind lap traffic and allow everyone else behind to close in. And if you get out of line trying to get around somebody, you get up on the outside groove, you're going to fall back, and we're going to see some lead changes once our leaders get to the lap traffic. And we may even see lead changes before that as well, depending on how fast some of these cars are in the field. About Braden Perez and Logan Williams on that inside lane as well. Isaac Nichols starting up front, Tanner Parton, Laura Chung, Nathan Smith, a lot of strong drivers starting up front in this race here tonight. They're all chasing Blaine Keys, who is chasing win number 30 here in the Wawa Cup Series on the channel. Overall win number 30. He's going for his 9th win in the Wawa Cup Series here tonight, so we'll see if he can pull it off and get his first for Pacific Racing. But In the point standings, he's 9th in the championship standings, 67 behind our points leader, Travis Crampton, who, by the way, starts 9th here tonight as well in that 98 machine. Bryce Egan and Ludovic Schredt are tied for 2nd in the championship standings, both 43 behind. Kirsten Bell is 51 behind. Laura Chung is 57 behind. Nathan Smith, 61 behind. Isaac Nichols, 63 behind. Our last winner, Duncan Ward, 65 behind. Blaine Keys, 67 behind. Bruno Diacomo, the last driver in the chase cutoff right now, 70 points behind, with Tanner Parton on the outside looking in. Logan Williams only 3 points off. Both of those drivers start in the top 5 here tonight, looking to move themselves in the top 10 in the point standings, going into our next race at Rockingham next Saturday. But as we mentioned, it's Blaine Keys in the number 32, starting on the pole position there for Pacific Racing. Alongside him, it's Tanner Parton in the number 97. Got Braden Perez there for Millennium Motorsports. Millennium won this race a year ago with Angel Gutierrez. Laura Chung there in the 20. Logan Williams almost won this race last year. He was the dominant driver in the early parts of that one before he lost the lead to his teammate Nicholas Samadillo. Appalachian Motorsports led all but 1 lap last year at Bristol, and of course that was the last lap where they didn't get the race victory. Nathan Smith starts 6th alongside him. Isaac Nichols and Josh Marzak in the number 14. I believe this is his first Cup start this season, driving there for Ground Autosport. There's your points leader, Travis Crampton, to the inside of Smoothfest winner Brian Webb. Matthew Hubert and Bruno Diacomo ran up the top 12 starting positions. Go through the field, some notable drivers. Ludovic Schredt there starting in the 17th position on the inside lane tonight. She struggled a little bit in qualifying this season. Nicholas Samadillo, who almost won this race last year, blew an engine coming to the white flag. Starts all the way back in the 23rd position alongside Daniel Paulus Jr. Not a good start for Thomas Troxel, Kirsten Bell, our last winner, Duncan Ward, or Jack Haas. They're all deep in the field, and our defending Bristol winner, Angel Gutierrez, is also deep in the field on the outside lane as well. But they're all chasing Blaine Keys in the number 32. We'll see what he does here at the Bristol Motor Speedway in this Krispy Kreme 500. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here for the 10th race of the season. And Matt, real quickly, who do you think is getting the job done here tonight in this Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol?
Well, I think if there was one team who left this place last year with a reason to be mad, it was Appalachian Motorsports, and I think Logan Williams said it last week. They're due for a big day here, and I think Logan Williams is going to find himself here in victory lane at the end of this race.
We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. A win would put him top 10 in the points, no doubt about that. And I know Logan would love to make the chase for the first time in his career in the Wawa Cup Series. He's got an opportunity. His teammate, Nicholas Samadillo, did not qualify well. We'll see what he can do. We'll see what our points leader can do in Travis Crampton. But most importantly, we'll see what Blaine Keys can do. Starting on the pole position here tonight, it's Bristol, baby. Let's go racing under the lights here. The last great Coliseum in the Wawa Cup Series. Lap 1 will be led by Blaine Keys, and already a yellow in the back of the field there. Troxel and Turner, and it looks like Bernardo de Oliveira as well. Trey Barto with damage, Drew Webb with damage as well, and Paulus also has damage in the 54. Winner at Martinsville 2 weeks ago, and it does not look like he's going to have a decent shot at this one here tonight. A bit of a stack up on the first lap of the race. That is not the way those drivers wanted to get it started off at all.
Yeah, and I have a feeling this kind of started in the middle of the pack because Drew Webb started in front of all those guys, so I don't know if they were just checking up to avoid him. His horrible season continues. So does Thomas Troxel's run the past few weeks. This has been a disaster.
Crampton's coming down the pit lane.
That's not good at all. And so is Samadillo.
Fuel system damage, and I do believe, that is accurate to now. And I apologize for all the other stuff on there. That is a heartbreaker for Travis Crampton in the 98, who had an opportunity of really extending that points lead. Now, odds are he will remain the points leader by the end of the night, but he's going to fall back there. Bryce Egan, Ludovic Schredt trying to close in on him in the points. Laura Chung's got a shot at really closing in. She had a really good start there to the race. Samadillo as well got caught up in that one. A lot of heavy names there getting caught up in this wreck on lap number 1 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway in the Krispy Kreme 500. We're really not off to a good start compared to last year now, are we? Let's see what happened to bring it out to get back to racing here at Bristol. Bryce Egan in the number 9. Trey Bartow in the back of the field there. And Bartow just spinning that 9 around. And Nicholas Samedeo. Andrew Webb. Both unfortunate victims of this one. And a hook right there to the outside wall for Samedeo. Bartow got caught up. Drew Webb got popped right there. Paulus had nowhere to go. And the 18 of Drew Webb, hard in the inside wall, came back up on Troxel, and the 62 got sent around. There goes Paulus, all race winners this season. Monaco as well. All 4 of those guys have gone the victory lane this season. Bit of a pop there from Kirsten and Duncan Ward, but nothing too major of those guys. And then Christian Master, Jesse Turner, Jared Martin getting a bit of this one as well. And then Trey Bartow in the 4, Bernardo de Oliveira in the back. It's a typical Bristol wreck, and especially when it happens right off the start when all those guys are bunched up double wide. It's hard to avoid it, though I don't believe anyone will be knocked out from this incident. Still a tough break for those guys involved, especially guys who were starting relatively well, who are going to fall a lap down to repair damage. Definitely not the way it wanted to go for some of those guys. But it's just the way it goes here at Bristol. It's sometimes hard to avoid things like that in a track this small.
Well, right off the jump, Bryce Egan, Trey Bartow, United Alliance, United into the wall. Drew Webb's gonna bang. That's a huge hit for Thomas Troxel, who did not need that. A cluster of cars here who are guys who are looking for some good nights here, to get their seasons back on track. And a bad streak for Pacific Racing continues for Thomas Troxel. Tough way to end his day here on lap number 1.
He'll still be going. He got some damage from that, but he is going to be at the back of the field from that one. But yeah, he blew an engine last week at Darlington. Similar issue at Martinsville. It has not been good for Troxel. And he lost 12 points last week at Darlington. Those guys have definitely struggled at Pacific Racing, but they got their driver, Blaine Keys, leading the field. Maybe it's finally Brendan Wilmington's night here with his star driver, Blaine Keys. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Let's get back to racing here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. We're back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway very early on in this Krispy Kreme 500. And we really didn't get a chance to talk about these drivers up front. Laura Chung dove right to the inside there. She is now 3rd in the number 20 machine. Great run for her right there. And then the number 44, Brain Perez, was able to hold on to 2nd. Logan Williams is 4th. Tanner Parton, Isaac Nichols, Nathan Smith, Matthew Hubert, Josh Marzak, and Alex Sanvitali in the top 10. Nobody is out of the race, though we do have 3 drivers a lap down. Drew Webb, Thomas Troxel, and Travis Crampton with his fuel system issue. But everybody is still out there on the racetrack with a single file restart now as we get to lap 7 of 125 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
And you talk about Millennium Motorsports last season, let's just call it what it is. They probably lucked into one of the easiest wins that you will ever see on the channel. But they got some good pace here the past few weeks. I feel like Braden Perez has been on a nice little heater on these short tracks. These are kind of the tracks he seems to just...
No, and Samedeo went around, but the green flag is still out. These guys are reacting to it. Braden Perez really checked up in reaction to it, and Laura Chung was like, I'm just going to drive on the outside around you. And a couple of the guys in the back of the field coming down with Jared Martin and Jesse Turner. Of course, they had continuous damage from the incident. Samedeo not having a good night at all. The bad luck continues for Mr. Edge, and now it's Laura Chung in 2nd. Braden Perez, Tanner Parton, Nathan Smith, Isaac Nichols, Logan Williams slipping back just a little bit there in the 95. He's going to fall back to the 6th position. To the 7th position, actually. And it's Marzak and Brian Webb. Smoothfest winner moving his way into the top 10. Great run for Brian so far here in this one. And the yellow is back out again. And, that's a hard wreck right there for Troxel and Leonard Kochmer in the 41 machine.
Oh, no.
These guys got to be careful to avoid that.
And not wreck each other avoiding it.
Well, this has definitely been an interesting start, and what do you expect? It's Bristol Motor Speedway, and I will say in testing we didn't quite have these levels of shenanigans, but you know what? As I was explaining the Matt behind the camera there, you can test and test and test all you want at these racetracks, and then you get a completely different outcome when you go to record the race. And that is what we have seen so far here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And Bernardo de Oliveira trying to push his teammate down. Trying to go to the pit lane right here.
Oh, okay.
No harm, no foul right there. Laura Chung's going to remain in the second position. This is the original Bristol, too. This is the Bristol that the folks at Papyrus designed and made themselves. And even they had trouble with it. If you know, you know. Well, let's see what happened to bring out the second caution tonight. It was Leonard Kochmer this time around getting a hard hit from Thomas Troxel, and Troxel's woes continue as he is going to be the last place finisher of the night. And Kochmer going to join him in the garage. And a 3 wide. So this is 1 and 2. We saw Kochmer get hit in 3 and 4, so a long accident here, and Kochmer getting in the Rogeldorn. And that's a tough place to save it there. I think Kochmer does save it. Rogel does not in the 74. And just a bit of a squeeze and a bad angle for Rogel going in the turn at number 3. Jack Haas is there in the 39. He has nowhere to go, and a hard hit to the outside. That's a massive shot for Kochmer in the outside wall. Arnsdorf getting a piece of that one as well. And that 41 at a bad angle. He has no control over that car in that situation. Going to slide down, and Troxel was caught up in the last accident at the back of the field here. Driver's side first, and you know, this is a video game. We always treat it as such, but we can be glad that that isn't a real hit, because if that was, we would be concerned for Leonard Kochmer, though. Only thing we got to be concerned with his own personal health is if he's slamming his head on his desk after getting caught up in yet another accident and falling even further back in the points. That's the old joke we always used to say back in the day, you know. I always like the ring it back. Hey, we've been doing this for 10 years now. Troxel's been doing it for 10 years too, and his past few races have been a couple of his worst in that 10-year span. Tough break for Troxel. He is out, along with Leonard Kochmer here at Bristol.
Well, Rogeldorn, Leonard Kochmer, I mean, 2 guys whose seasons just go from bad to worse. Jack Haas, a bystander there, and this in real time is just a bang! Huge hit for Leonard Kochmer there. And Thomas Troxel, he should be thanking his lucky stars that he was able, that the strategy worked out for some of those guys at Auto Club, because if he did not have that win right now, he could miss the chase bubble warning would be on fire for him right now.
And it may still be, unfortunately, for Troxel. You've got guys who have won races who are going to finish ahead of him. And, yeah, that's not the season that Troxel would have wanted at this point. Though he got the first win of the season and has kind of been downhill since then. Though he was 5th in points going into Darlington last week, so, you know, it started last week, more specifically. Well, his teammate is still out front here in the number 32. Let's see what he does on the restart here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And we're once again back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and not off to a great start, are we? 2 cautions in 12 laps. Had a little bit of a green flag run right there. Sam Anillo got spun around. It could have been a caution. It was not. Allowed Laura Chung to get around Brain Perez for second, and then Leonard Kochmer went around and got hammered by Thomas Troxel. They're the only 2 drivers out of the race so far. Both Jared Martin and Jesse Turner 3 laps down. Sam Anillo's a lap down. So is Drew Webb and Travis Crampton and Bernardo de Oliveira. Everybody else still off the lead lap. 34 drivers, last one being Angel Gutierrez. Blaine Keys has led every lap so far. It's Laura Chung, Brain Perez, Tanner Parham, Nathan Smith did not get going there on the restart. Isaac Nichols, Logan Williams, and the 14 of Josh Marzak. Sam Anillo, of course, stuck a lap down. He does not get moved out of the way for that. And here comes Laura Chung in the 20. A great jump there on the restart on the bumper of Blaine Keys. Not enough momentum to get around him at the moment. Here comes Tanner Parton trying to get around Brain Perez. You want to be on that inside lane. The outside lane does not have as much grip. It's like turns 1 and 2 at Darlington. You just do not want to be stuck there. And a little bit hard to make these passes. But if we get a long green flag run, which hopefully we will at some point here tonight, these guys will close up to the back of the field, have that lap traffic, and then things will really get interesting here at Bristol.
It is going to definitely be. I mean, we got, you guys can see down pit road there. There's 3, 4, 5 cars on this racetrack right now. We're all beat to hell. So there's going to be some if we were saying before the race, there's going to be some slower cars. There's going to be some much slower cars now. Keys and Chung, though, are starting to separate from Perez. Tanner Parton in the 4th position. Nathan Smith has really been the best GRT car outside of Daniel Paulus the past few weeks, which feels incredible to say, but he's stepping up to the plate. Nichols as well, another great day from PVE. And there's Brian Webb, though, got to give a quick shout out to him. This is a fantastic run here. For a guy who's not had a great season, love to see him up here.
Of course, he did win the Smooth Fest in New Smyrna. This is kind of, it's got some vibes to New Smyrna in a way. Not all the way, of course, but Brian Webb, of course, he won the race on pace, the New Smyrna Speedway in the Smooth Fest, and I know his owner, Aaron Abel, is very happy about that, but Racing Motorsports as a whole, and we saw that just a moment ago, Leonard Cosper has not really had the best of runs so far this season. Brian Webb trying to get a top 10. Of course, Nicholas Samadeo a lap down from the many issues we have already seen he has had here tonight. He got spun around there, and Rogel Dorn had to come down the pit lane. An issue on the 74. It's not a good day for Hamel Racing Enterprises. Christian Master also came down the pit lane as well, and it's another one of those tracks, maybe not as bad as Martinsville, where we see those restart violations more towards the back. What Blaine had in Martinsville was not a restart violation. At least I don't think it was. I don't know what happened to send him down the pit lane near the end of that one. Nathan Smith getting passed there by Logan Williams. And Isaac Nichols going to follow suit right there. And now these guys stuck behind Rogel Dorn. And this is what we're going to see with the race leaders eventually. You got Logan Williams trying to get a nose to the inside of Tanner Parton right there. Can't quite get it. Got to give a huge shout out to Braden Perez. Only one top 10 this season, but he's definitely been up front in a lot of these qualifying sessions. He's also gotten the pole. He got that at Atlanta earlier in the year, and he is currently holding on to 3rd with Tanner Parton, who finished 3rd last week at Darlington right behind him, and all these guys just jamming up behind this 40 or 74 right now, allowing Laura Chung and Blaine Keys to pull away here at Bristol.
Yeah, it's looking like the Cup race earlier at Darlington, where you run into a slow car, and then suddenly these NASCAR stock cars turn into F1 aero monsters. Can't figure out why that is, but yeah, this is not good at all here. Rogel Dorn just completely holding up everybody. 2.7 the gap that lap. Half a second a lap. This is just diabolical stuff here. Somebody's going to have to put the bumper to the 74 and possibly just send him up into the wall. Tanner Parton said, I'm going to get Braden Perez out of the way, try and take his turn at him, but this is not what these guys want to see, as Keys and Chung are just stepping away from the field now.
And Blaine Keys is about to catch the end of the field here with Travis Crampton, who we would assume has a fast car, even though he had the fuel issue. He is still a lap down, and so is Drew Webb, Nicholas Samadeo, but Blaine is coming fast on the back of the field right now. That's good news for Laura Chung and her attempts to have an opportunity at Blaine Keys for this race lead. Tanner Parton still stuck behind Rogel Dorn. Eventually, these guys will close up as well if they ever get around the 74 machine. Logan Williams is now in 4th. Isaac Nichols is 5th. Josh Marzak is having a great night. They're in the 6th position in the Grattan machine. Brian Webb, Braden Perez, Jared Martin is a couple laps down. He came down the pit lane. Nathan Smith and now Matthew Hubert. Here comes Ladovic. She's up to 11th now. Here comes Andrew Miller in the 86, now up to 12th as Savantali is getting stuck on the outside lane to the 61. There goes Bruno Diacomo, who is right on the cutoff right now, trying to rebound in that 24 machine. He's now 14th. Brad Stover, Roberto Crown Jr. in the top 20. LJ Sameto, I should say. Haley Anderson Jr. is 18th. Philip Torres, Kirsten Bell in the top 20. Duncan Ward up to 22nd right now, which isn't too bad considering where he started. They're all getting around Nicholas Samadeo right now. I got Bryce Egan, Darian Ornsdorf. These guys a couple laps down right here in Jesse Turner and Christian Master. Zachary Fitzwater, Justin Zidell, Jack Haas, Angels Gutierrez, Avery Alford, Daniel Paulus Jr. still on the lead lap, although he is back in 30th. You got Trey Barto, Bernardo de Oliveira there's a lap down. Last car on the lead lap is Eric Monaco, and that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Laura Chung has taken the lead here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and you saw that in the corner of your screen, and I'll promise we actually show it this time. But this could be Laura Chung tonight. She has not won a race on the channel in over 2 years. It was the Turkey Hill Truck Series back in 2022 when she last went to Victory Lane. She won 4 races that season, the only 4 wins she has on the channel. Oh boy, it's getting tight there with Blaine. She tried to make a move on Crampton and could not make it stick. And a great battle between Laura Chung and Blaine Keys right now for the top position. Oh, and Crampton just put Monaco in the wall ahead of him. And that 45's going around.
That's not good. That's not good.
Is it going to be a caution? It will right there.
Oh, there we go.
Dorn and Nathan Smith just got caught up in it as well. Brad Stover's around, and they're piling up a little bit here. Though they will generally... Oh, Kirsten Bell's around, and this is why we don't race back to the line anymore. Oh, brother. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, good on Crampton. Threw a temper tantrum and put the 45 in the wall, and he just took out about 7 championship contenders. Or led to an accident that just took the 06, the 93. Saw the 54 get in there. The 51. I'm not even. Just baffled. Absolutely baffled.
That ain't how you do it. That's for sure. And Eric Monaco kind of just lost control of the car going into the corner there. So that was after he got hit by Crampton and slid back down. And these guys were racing back to the line. And that is a blind spot in the corner. That's going to take Rogel-Dorn out of the race. He went head-on into the 45. Matthew Hubert's also, yikes, that was not a good exchange for you guys at GRT. That 15 clearly has damage to his car. He's not on the jack. Well, our third caution of the night here at Bristol. Laura Chung's now your race leader here in the Krispy Kreme 500. Let's see what brought it out here in the 10th race of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. Well, right in front of our leaders here, Travis Crampton, trying to stay one lap down, is going to punt that 45 Eric Monaco into the outside wall, and Monaco could not save it any further. The Daytona 500 champion, running in only his 4th race of the season so far here in the Wawa Cup Series. Just spins it around, and yeah, this is when it all breaks loose here. They were all stuck behind Rogel-Dorn. As a matter of fact, Parton had actually finally gotten around that 74. Though I think part of that had to do with these guys reacting to the 45. Rogel's going to be the first one right into the rear of Eric Monaco. And a lot of these guys do avoid it, except for Nathan Smith, Ludovic Charette, Matthew Hubert there on that outside. Just that's like, that's the death hit right there. It's just like a sweet spot that they hit, and it boom, the engine is done, and that's what happened to Hubert. Brad Stover in the 78. Roberto Crown Jr. getting caught up in that one. These guys jamming it up a little bit right here. Philip Torres, LJ Cimento, Sam Vitale, Joshua Neely. Monaco really did take the worst shots in this one, though. And a little bit further back here, Christian Master nowhere to go, and then Kirsten Bell got in the Rogel. Jesse Turner got in the Kirsten Bell. And who else? There's Gutierrez, our defending Bristol winner, right in the Kirsten. That's going to take Gutierrez out of the race. Most of these guys, you know, in all fairness, did a decent job avoiding ARCA brakes. Some of them did not. Some of them were better than others. But I'm going to take out some strong contenders here at the Bristol Motor Speedway after this one.
If this didn't happen, I'm curious how the race would have been. Well, you watch Crampton there, and you just can't do that. You can't do that in general, especially when you are the points leader. Bang goes Rogel-Dorn, bang goes Nathan Smith, Huber, Ludovic. Just everybody comes piling in here. Kirsten Bell, probably the biggest ARCA brake offender, but I mean, not really anywhere for her to go there. I mean, she's trying to cut through, and Travis Crampton had enough time to come around and finish his lap. It's a tough incident there. Some short track racing gone wrong. It's a huge one. It's a lot of title contenders are taken out here in this accident.
Yeah, it's the way it goes sometimes at Bristol, and as I said, just nowhere to go for those guys. Such a narrow track right there. And to everyone's credit, they actually did a pretty decent job of avoiding too big of an accident. It's still going to take out a lot of guys, but we've seen way worse. Let's get back to it. Lord Chung is now the race leader. She took the lead away from Blaine Keys. Will she be able to hold on to it? Let's find out when we get back to racing here at Bristol. We are back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Lord Chung is your race leader here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. I don't know, has it been as awful as last year's race? That was a very awful wreck for a lot of guys. Angel Gutierrez is out of the race. Kirsten Bell and Nathan Smith caught up. Matthew Hubert is out. Brad Stover, Eric Monaco, Rogel Dorn all out of the race from that incident. There's a couple guys multiple laps down from coming down the pit lane prior. Sam Adio, Crampton, Roberto Crown Jr. did get back out there. Ladovatret stayed on the lead lap. Drew Webb is 2 laps down. Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Tell you what, this place is something else. And Blaine might not get back around there, but that's going to take him out. Blaine Keys is done for the night. And are they going to throw the yellow? He may teleport back before we get back around right here, and he will. Wow. Laura Chung,
wow.
Tanner Parton, Logan Williams, Brian Webb, Isaac Nichols. They got Drew Webb out of there very quick, and now Laura Chung has a great opportunity at getting her first ever win in the Wawa Cup Series here tonight. But so does Tanner Parton, and Logan Williams trying to get his 4th. This race has completely turned over here. We're only on lap 46.
The quartet of Kirsten Bell, Thomas Troxel, Blaine Keys, and Jack Haas, I think we can now safely say has had about as bad a past 3 weeks as I think is possibly capable of having. I mean, you had
you know something.
Awful
That's
luck
2 weeks. That's 3 weeks in a row for Pacific because Troxel had an engine go bad at Darlington. Blaine had whatever happened to him, and Drew Webb, they sent him around.
Here we go.
Paul's got a bit of that one, but this is a minor scuffle in the back and our 4th caution of the night. Man, we tried, guys. We really tried. Oh, my goodness.
Oh!
Fitzwater just drove through Tanner Parton.
Might not matter.
I don't think it will.
Might not matter.
It will matter to Fitzwater. He took the front end damage to that one.
Tanner's got some rear damage now, which doesn't matter too much here, but that back end is crinkled. That's not insignificant. These guys, I think, are going to need a lap.
This spot in line. My goodness, you know, they say full moon Saturday night, full moon Friday night. That's what it is this weekend. It's tomorrow night. But, you know, we tested, you know, we're going to keep rolling with it. This has been a fun night so far for some guys, and we got ourselves a really wacky race on our hands. And so many of the championship contenders are strong drivers that we would expect have been knocked out of this race so far. Guys like Sam Adio, Crampton's had his issue, but this is a lot like Martinsville for Crampton. He had an issue early on that had nothing to do, essentially, with what happened on track. And he's kept it 1 lap down, and he's moving up as these guys continue to move on up through the field. Blaine is out of the race. He is going to end up finishing in the 33rd position. Christian Master will get around him in that regard. Only driving out from that, though, this caution that we just had with Drew Webb was not a significant enough of an incident for it to be to take anybody out, I should say. All right, let's do it for the 4th time here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Not quite halfway through this Krispy Kreme 500. We may just hit those 9 cautions we did last year at this rate. Bruno Diacomo in a GRT sandwich. He didn't like that, so he took out Drew Webb, who is going to get into Daniel Paulus Jr. is ahead. Paulus was still on the lead lap here, and still is on the lead lap even after this. Thankfully, this was not a major incident in terms of hits, so that was a bit of a shot there that Sam Adio gave to Paulus. No one will be knocked out from this incident, thankfully, but no, you don't like to see it. Barto and De Oliveira locking wheels going into the corner as well. And Bryce Egan. Yeah, he didn't get any hits there. Mild incident compared to the others tonight. But going to send Drew Webb and Daniel Paulus Jr. to the back of the field for this restart.
Well, not a good night for a lot of people. And Drew Webb, Daniel Paulus, Sam Adio, and Bruno Giacomo, their nights just continue to get worse. Luckily, I don't think anybody's going to actually get taken out of that accident, so that's good. That's good. But it's Laura Chung in the race lead, so...
Oh, and the Fitzwater did that.
Hello.
Parton, by the way, he is still second. I don't think he's going to really be affected too much from that, thankfully. But I can imagine that Tanner would not be too happy with the drive for the number 99 after that incident. But either way, Laura Chung still the race leader. Let's see what she does on the restart. Fourth time here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. Once again, back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway after Drew Webb got sent around right there at the 18. Of course, he was already a couple laps down, had damage. And that's one of the things, too, now that we're seeing with these guys, because so many of these drivers have damage on the racetrack. There is a big difference in speed between certain guys, and there's not enough room to make these passes. Of course, Blaine Key's blowing up has nothing to do with any of that. And Blaine's out of the race, and this was one of his best shots to win up to this point this season. Well, now Laura Chung, Tanner Parton, Logan Williams, Brian Webb all have a shot at getting a win here today. Isaac Nichols, Braden Perez, Jared Martin is a lap down. Andrew Miller, LJ Semedo, Philip Torres, and Alex Amitali. That is the top 10 right now. Back up front, Laura Chung, Tanner Parton, Logan Williams are all drivers who can make the chase this year the way they have been running. And they are all top 3 right now, looking to get their first wins of the season.
I think this is going to play, and we're going to see how this race unfolds here. I have a feeling it's playing in Logan Williams' hands if he can keep that car clean. The 97's got damage. I like the 20, but I want to see how the 20 is under pressure here. We've never really seen her outside of Atlanta earlier this year. We've never really seen her in this position in the Cup Series, so it's going to be fun to watch as this race unfolds. Andrew Miller, how about Philip Torres? I mean, a few weeks ago at Homestead, he just parked the bus on pit road and said, adios, guys. I'm not going to drive. I'm done. And Duncan Ward. Almost every other championship contender tonight has just gotten, the dumbest possible luck has gone their way. It's working out for Duncan Ward tonight. He's just working his way through the field, keeps taking up positions, and he's going to find himself in the top 10 here soon.
This could definitely work out very well for Duncan Ward long term. I mean, Crampton's had an issue. Haven't seen Bryce Egan at all tonight. I don't think he's gotten caught up in anything. He's 21st. He just hasn't been there. Paulus is the same way. He's got some damage, but he is still on the lead lap. Ladovic is also still on the lead lap in 23rd, and I think considering the way the night has gone for certain drivers, it's not too bad. But the guys who are having good runs are Laura Chung, Tanner Parton, Logan Williams, Brian Webb, Isaac Nichols. They've all been up front in the top 10 pretty much this entire race, and they have avoided trouble. And they're the top 5 at the moment. Braden Perez trying to hold off Andrew Miller right here. Miller in the 7th position. And how about Philip Torres there in 8th? You got Alex Amitali. Joshua Neely is in 10th right now in the 42 as Marzak fell back a little bit there. He's now the 13th. Jack Haas is 14th. The only Toyota not to have any trouble tonight, even though he does have some damage. Darian Armstrong. Actually, Haley Anderson Jr. hasn't had any issue tonight. These two guys a lap down, Sam Idio and Crampton, and then you got Giacomo in 17th. Zidell is 18th. Avery Alford, Trey Bartow, the top 20. Only 23 drivers on the lead lap right now here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, but we're going to have ourselves a pretty good race on our hands if we get a long green flag run, because these 5 guys will have a lot of opportunities to win this race here tonight. Laura Chung's got the best opportunity. See how she does when we get to Ladovic Charette as lap traffic of all people.
It's kind of funny. I mean, going through this top 10, you used to think back to the Speedway physics plate racing era, and or in general, Daytona and Talladega, you think as these races of, look back at that truck race, have a big wreck that wipes out half the field, and suddenly guys you don't normally see in these positions have opportunities. The top 3 obviously have all been up here all season, so is Isaac Nichols, but Brian Webb, Braden Perez, Andrew Miller, these are some guys who haven't necessarily had the fastest cars all season. Philip Torres, Sam Vitale, LJ Semedo's kind of been hit or misses here. So, all the chaos tonight, it benefits other people. And there are some good drivers who just haven't had amazing seasons that are up here in position to take advantage of it. But Laura Chung's got the most pressure on her right now because Tanner Parton and Logan Williams will be ready to pounce if she cannot slice and dice. Ludovic Charette is the first lap car on the menu.
Well, it's going to end up being our teammate Drew Webb, who has had his fair share of issues tonight. But Laura's going to close in on Drew here in just a moment. We are now finally halfway through this Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. Logan Williams trying to close in there on Tanner Parton. And you got to think, too, Blaine Keys did not get caught up in an accident. He would be up here with these guys if he did not have a blown engine. And just like Sam Adio last year. But, you know, just what could have been. That's going to send Blaine Keys out of the top 10 again. Laura, on the other hand, has an opportunity of taking second in the standings. And I think regardless if she wins or not, if she finishes top 5, she's going to get that. Travis is going to hold on to a good points lead, but it won't be as good. Laura is going to make quick work of Drew Webb right there, and that's what you got to do. It's these faster lap cars you got to worry about, like Ludovic, like Roberto Crown Jr., Christian Master here, and they're all on the line right here, and that's going to allow Tanner Parton to close right in, especially considering Parton is probably going to get around Drew Webb pretty quickly as well. So this is what we were talking about here, and you got Brian Webb now trying to get to the inside of Logan Williams for the third position. Couldn't quite get it there. Laura's going to get around Roberto Crown Jr. She's going to assist Ludovic Charette in that regard. And Roberto's going to fall back. Another lap down right there. Tanner Parton is now in double wide lap traffic trying to get around Drew Webb right here. And Laura Chung stuck behind Ludovic Charette and losing time to these next 4 drivers in the top 5. Brain Perez and Andrew Miller also closing in on these guys. And that's what happens. You get stuck behind a lap car and then boom, everyone jumps right back on you. Laura Chung held up here at the moment by Ludovic Charette. Tanner Parton's got to get around Brian Webb to have an opportunity at the 20. But if he can get around him, he's going to have a shot at the race victory.
He's got to be careful, though, here, because if he doesn't get around this 18 quickly, I've seen on a couple of these restarts, Logan Williams has been very quick to... Oh, here comes Brian Webb. A little bit of a nudge to the 95, and that was Logan Williams' opportunity to potentially have a shot at this race win, and it might start slipping away here.
There's the yellow again.
Is it out?
No, I'm colorblind, apparently. I've seen it so much that I thought I saw it. We do not have a yellow. Hey, in post, if you see that little yellow blinking at the ticker there, then you know it's a yellow. If you don't see it, then we don't have it. And Tanner Parton just got passed by Brian Webb. Here comes Isaac Nichols. Here comes Andrew Miller as well. And a big shift of hands right there. And now Brian Webb's going to go around Drew Webb. And Brian Webb's got a shot at getting the Laura Chung at the top spot. Less than 50 laps to go. They're going to get around Christian Master. And Laura's going to try to put another lap car in between her and Brian Webb right here. Isaac Nichols up to the 3rd position. Tanner Parton, Andrew Miller in the top 5. Logan's going to fall back to 6th. Philip Torres and Brain Perez got shuffled out of line. Here comes Duncan Ward joining the top 10. And this is what I was talking about, guys. When I did all this, this is what I was talking about. This is some great racing we've got going on right now here at Bristol. And Laura's going to get around Ludovic right here. But Brian Webb's going to try to make quick work of Ludovic as well. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But Laura Chung now pulling away. Next lap car in line, Jesse Turner in the 47. And then it's a bit of a gap between to get to any other lap cars here. Laura's got a good chance at this one here tonight. Here comes Isaac Nichols. Going to look to take second away from Brian Webb right there. Not going to be able to do it quite yet as Brian Webb's now stuck behind Ludovic Charette. And Laura's got an opportunity to just pull away from these guys as you got Tanner Parton back on the inside of Isaac Nichols there for the 4th position. For the 3rd position, excuse me. And Miller's going to look to take 4th.
Nichols had his opportunity there, and I think that's probably going to be his shot to win, going up to the outside and just getting overtaken by Andrew Miller and Logan Williams. And I mean, now it's Brian Webb and Laura Chung. We have not really seen... Laura Chung's really been the only Chevy driver this... Now, granted, I know the Trackhouse cars have been up in the top 5 in points, but some of the inconsistencies they have, I don't know if they have the staying power. Laura Chung has really asserted herself as the best Chevy driver this year, and here comes Brian Webb. I mean, this is not... I know Blake Keys is great on the short tracks, but this has never really been Racing Motorsports' wheelhouse here on these short tracks. So this is a fantastic effort here for this whole 43 team. He's clear of Ludovic. Now it's going to be Tanner Parton's turn, and we're just going to have to see, does Brian Webb have another short track win in him this year? Won the Smooth Fest to open the season. That was a pretty shocking upset, to be honest. He's got his sights set now in the 74. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Jesse Turner holding up Laura Chung right here. See how much he holds up this 20 machine, because Brian Webb's got nobody in between him and Lord Chung at the moment. This could be Brian Webb's opportunity. Logan Williams around Andrew Miller right there. Logan's going to try to get around Tanner Parton as they try to get around Ludovic Stretton. How long will Lord Chung be held up by Jesse Turner? That's the big question. There's a half a second that Brian Webb gained right there. Laura's got to be careful not to get caught up in an accident with Turner. She's going to get him right here. And Lord Chung going to take a lap away from Jesse Turner. Brian Webb's not going to get around the 47 machine. And this is not enough lap cars in the way here to really make a difference for our race leader in Laura Chung. And these guys trying to catch her. Tanner Parton trying to get around Ludovic Stretton right here. Ludovic's much harder to get around. You know how good of a driver she is, and obviously that car is not up to pace. Parton's going to try right here. Will he be able to get the move to the inside? Not quite. Andrew Miller with a top 5 run here. Looking for his first top 10 of the season. He's to the inside of Parton there, looking for third now on the 97 on his old ride. And you got Isaac Nichols to the inside there, looking to take fourth away. Williams has slipped back again, and he's going to really... Ooh, 3 wide off the corner. How about Duncan Ward? 3 wide on Sam Vitale and Logan Williams, and he's going to move his way up to the 7th position with that. They're still 3 wide. Logan Williams really getting shuffled at a line. Brain Perez takes a spot away from Sam Vitale. Yeah, that's a tough one there for Logan. He is slipping back here and struggling late in the going here in this Krispy Kreme 500. They finally got around Ludovic Stretton, but Brian Webb has not gotten around Jesse Turner. And Laura Chung is pulling away in the number 20, but still 30-plus laps to go here in this Krispy Kreme 500.
I mean, 30 laps to go. You never know. She's still got time. She could catch Jesse Turner at the wrong time, depending how this plays out here. But it's going to be see this next pack of cars. Once they dispense of Jesse Turner, this gaggle of cars would very much concern me if I'm sitting on the box of Laura Chung here. Hollis, Fitzy, Sam Badillo, all these cars have damage, but none of them are super heavily damaged. And they all look like they're running. This is just unbelievable stuff here. Second time tonight we've seen one of these Hamill Racing cars just not get out of the way for the lappers.
Miller's
really
going to take second.
Andrew Miller bump and run to the 43. Here we go.
And then this is what they're hoping to do if they catch up the Laura Chung behind Paulus and Sam Badillo and all these guys. But they got to get around Turner. And Laura got around Turner very well. Of course, Miller's got one of the best cars on the track right now. That 86 is wired in at the moment. And Andrew Miller looking to close in here on Laura Chung. He's going to have an opportunity. He's got no one in between him and Chung Chung's going to have this huge gaggle ahead of her. And how well will she get around with these guys? Now, if she ends up lapping Bryce Egan right here, which I think is going to be very possible, then it might be hard for Andrew Miller because there's going to be a car in between. But it's 4 seconds right now. It's 28 laps to go. Next time by here in the Krispy Kreme 500, but Laura Chung is right in the middle of the back of the field, and she's not going to get out of this easy. And she's got to be careful not to get put on the outside by Bryce Egan or any of these guys, because they absolutely have the capability of doing that, but she's going to do all she can. Lapping gang with Paulus Jr., Nicholas Sambadia right ahead, LJ Cimento, she's right in the middle of all this. And Andrew Miller's going qualifying laps right now, that 86 machine, as these guys are still stuck behind Jesse Turner. Tanner Parton, Isaac Nichols, Brian Webb, Philip Torrey's up to 6th, then it's Duncan Ward, Brain Perez, Sam Vitale, and Logan Williams. That's the top 10 right now, a great top 10 here at Bristol, as they're 3 wide behind the number 20, who is getting around these guys very, very well, even though she has lost a lot of time to Andrew Miller. She has put herself in a great position. Even if a caution comes out, she's going to have all these lap cars in between her and Andrew Miller. They're still 3 wide. That's the Titan Fury guys and Nicholas Sambadio. Andrew Miller going to try. Andrew Miller try for a caution on Bernardo de Oliveira. Can't quite completely take him out. Oh, that was tight right there between the 86 and the 0. And now Miller trying to get around these lap cars. Laura Chung still got Bryce Egan right behind her. She's stuck behind Jack House at the moment. She's got to be careful around these lap cars.
Andrew Miller only lost 3/10 in that exchange, by the way. I mean, this 86, he is driving like a man possessed right now. He knows that if this stays green, there's nobody behind him that's going to really catch him. And he's got to move quickly, though, because once Laura Chung gets by Roberto Crown Jr., which is going to happen, that's his shot for the win. That's the race win right there, I think. I don't know who's in front of Laura Chung now. It's going to be Christian Master. That was quick. That was very quick.
That was a masterful job around the lap car. She got around all those guys in less than 10 laps. That is impressive. And keep in mind, too, Miller's kind of doing the same thing. He's got a really quick car, but he's now losing the time, trying to get around those same lap cars. Roberto Crown Jr. way off the pace right there. And we still got some double Y going on here. Avery Alford, Drew Webb there as well. Bryce Egan, Jack Haas. They're going to be the only two in between Miller. Once Miller gets around, once Miller puts San Mateo in the wall, Semedo, excuse me, and LJ's not happy about that with the 86. You know, Miller got into San Mateo at Bristol. He's actually not going to get that 71, and that's going to hurt his chances right there. Now the Oliveira might have a shot to the inside of him. He's still stuck on the outside.
Yeah,
that was not a good move. Here comes Tanner Parton. Here comes Brian Webb. Duncan Ward up to 5th now on the 23. I don't think it's going to be a race win for any of these guys, but Duncan Ward has done an incredible job in this race, moving on up from deep in the field to start this race, up to now 4th as he gets around Brian Webb. Brain Perez, Simon Talley, Isaac Nichols, Logan Williams still the top 10. Oh, and Williams just put Charette in the wall. She's going to keep going. But Williams had it with our defending champion. Laura Chung got stuck on the outside. She got passed by Jack Haas in the 20. But if Andrew did not have that scuffle with Semedo, he'd have a shot at this win right now. But still, 16 laps to go here in the Krispy Kreme 500 for Laura Chung. It's far from over here at Bristol.
Well, if Andrew Miller could get by, I mean, I feel like somebody's so close to just causing a huge one here. Okay, Miller just has to lock in and do some crazy driving here. We've seen at this racetrack before, you can make up so much time so quickly. I mean, he was making up 7/10 a lap on his chase down to Laura Chung, so he's going to have to pick these cars up. He only has a lap, though. A lap for each one of them to get by. Laura Chung split up, and it's not going to... And Laura Chung's helping him out here right now. Laura Chung's kind of giving the door, cracking the door back open here for Andrew Miller to have an opportunity to close in.
Well, either way, I think it's safe to say that somebody, if things really get crazy, Duncan Ward might have a shot at going back-to-back. But I feel like we're going to have a first-time winner in the Wawa Cup Series. Come from a driver who has been in the Wawa Cup Series since the start of it back in 2023. Laura Chung, Andrew Miller, and Tanner Parton have all been in every Wawa Cup Series race. None of them have gone to victory lane yet in a Wawa Cup Series event. One of them, I think, is going to get it done here tonight. The big question is, will Laura Chung get passed by Semedo here? That's going to be the big kicker. That 71's got enough speed to do it. If she gets stuck behind Jack Haas enough, that 71 is closing in on the 20, and Miller's going to have one more go at it here for this race lead before this race is over. 10 laps to go next time by here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol for Laura Chung.
De Oliveira's doing his part, though, to help out his racing teammate, Laura Chung. He's not giving an easy go to this 86 Andrew Miller, who's got to start getting a little bit frustrated here. We know he can put the bumper to the back of somebody if he wants to. Chung's car, I think the tires might be getting pushing shot on that 20, because she just keeps sliding 1 and 2. She's going to get to the inside.
Oh, contact there.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's going to be the opportunity for Miller to get around De Oliveira. Laura's still stuck behind Jack Haas. She gets around the 39. I think it's game over for Andrew Miller. Miller now stuck behind Drew Webb and just not able to get around this 18. Duncan Ward, by the way, up to the 3rd position. Tanner Parton, Philip Torres with the top 5 run right now. Logan Williams has found himself back in 6th. Brian Webb, Brain Perez battling. Sam Matali Nichols, they're back in there as well. I think Darian Arnsdorf is 11th. Haley Anderson Jr. is 12th. Bruno Diacomo, Josh Marzak, Justin Zidell, Joshua Neely, Trey Barto, Avery Alford, Bryce Egan, Jack Haas, the last car on the lead lap right in front of her race leader, Laura Chung. Miller finally got around. And it's Semedo. If Semedo gets a shot on Laura, that's going to be Miller's only chance. But it's only 5 laps to go here in the Krispy Kreme 500 for Laura Chung and Rut Racing. Rut Racing will get their first win as a team here in the Wawa Cup Series. Laura's trying to get around Jack Haas here. put the 39 a lap down. He can't quite do it. And this 86 is going to be gaining some time here.
Not enough, though. That's nowhere near enough time.
It's only if Semedo puts Chung on the outside will Miller have a chance. Oh, but there might be a chance here. That 20 machine going a little wide right there. Semedo actually lost a lot of time, and Laura Chung's doing everything right now. Not being too aggressive with Jack Haas. He has done an excellent job in this race, and she's going to finally get to the inside of the 39. It's going to be 2 laps to go next time by for Laura Chung and Rut Racing here at Bristol. What an entertaining race it has been in the chase to get this race victory. Laura's got to be careful not to let Jack back to the inside, because if she gets stuck up there, Miller will have a chance. But she's only going to have 1 lap to go here at the Bristol Motor Speedway for her first ever Wawa Cup Series win. Laura Chung has been knocking on the door all season long. A runner-up finish at Atlanta by just a nose on Isaac Nichols. Well, tonight, it's her night. It's going to be her first ever win in the Wawa Cup Series. Laura Chung wins the Krispy Kreme 500 here at Bristol. Andrew Miller, Duncan Ward, Tanner Parton, Philip Torres, the top 5. Brian Webb, Isaac Nichols, Logan Williams, Braden Perez, and Britta Diacono with the last spot in the top 10 here tonight. But Laura Chung gets it done for her first career Wawa Cup Series race victory. She started at Everbell Motorsports. You think Hamill's bad this season? That was the original bad team in the series. Last year she was with Dracona Racing Enterprises, a little bit of a step up. She had some good runs. Finally with Rut Racing, a team who has absolutely found speed, especially with that number 20 this season. And Laura Chung gets it done here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. What a race. It started off a little shaky there, but we had a great run to the finish here at Bristol. And some interesting faces up front in this one, including last week's winner of Duncan Ward, who's going to move up in the points. Laura Chung's going to move up in the points. Crampton will still be the points leader, but not by much, as Laura Chung's going to find her way second in the standings after this one here tonight from Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, it's that top 10 looking like a Daytona 500 top 10. You have obviously, your heavy hitters. Chung put in a great day. That is Troxel, Huber, Smith, Bell, Keys, Webb, Samadio, Crampton, Charette, Hollis, Haas. I don't even, not even sure what to say to all that. I mean, just absolute chaos for some championship contenders. But the 20, the 23, the 97, and the 6, the biggest winners without question here tonight. As a lot of these guys and girls in the title fight had some pretty bad luck go their way. Those couple drivers I just mentioned, they were able to capitalize it. And I think we were talking about it at Darlington, the margin of error you have in this chase, it just got ever so slimmer, and I cannot wait to see what these point standings look like after this race.
It's going to be very, very fascinating once we get to it. You guys will see that at the end of the video here. This to your point there. Of course, Troxel got caught up in the accident with Leonard Kosmer. That was really the big one right there. I think that kind of started the chain of events. And then Eric Monday getting dumped by Crampton, and that chain of events took out Kirsten Bell, Nathan Smith, Matthew Hubert, and the like. Blaine Keys blew an engine, camshaft more specifically on the 32. After he would have won this race. I mean, maybe not, but he would have been second most of that run. And Laura Chung had this race win come to her a lot easier because that 32 blew up. Let's just put it that way. So that's a tough break there for Blaine Keys and that team. And, of course, Sam Medeo salvaged a decent run considering everything, but he's really been struggling considering what we know of him. And then Travis Crampton, our points leader, trying to rebound a little bit. Ladovic Charette ended up finishing a lap down. Daniel Pauls Jr. as well. These are guys who had damage from earlier incidents that just lost the pace eventually. And that number 20, Laura Chung, and Andrew Miller, both of those, they were the two best drivers in the field. And I think Duncan Ward was the third best. I think Duncan Ward actually may have been the best driver. He just drove through that field at Bristol to finish third after he started outside the top 30. And that's what he would have done in Martinsville had he not gotten taken out in that wreck. Duncan Ward may just be the fastest guy at this point. And watch out for him as we move on throughout the season. I think next week at Rockingham, Duncan Ward could easily go to victory lane in that race after what we have seen the past few weeks. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes down at the Rock What a race. Laura Chung gets it done here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Her first career win in the Wawa Cup Series, her first win on the channel in over 2 years. Last win came, and I can't remember which race it was, in the 2022 Turkey Hill Truck Series before the Wawa Cup Series was even a thing. She has been in the Wawa Cup Series since the start, and she finally got one. And I know Joe Rakowski's going to be happy about that one. They've been putting a lot of effort in that team, and they may be championship favorites. And hey, I like to see it. She drives for my team in Joe's series. So, you know, we've both given each other wins now. Laura's given both of us wins in our respective series. That's pretty cool. She got a win for Otter Island Motorsports at Phoenix earlier on in the D-World Cup Series. Maybe she's gotten a couple more since then. I don't know. But she got one here in the Wawa Cup Series, getting it done in the Krispy Kreme 500. Well, next weekend, next Saturday at noon Eastern Time, it's the Cheerwine 400 at the Rock. We've been going to the Rock since Season 2 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but they're finally back there in real life, which I am much looking forward to. But we'll be there, as we always are, for the Cheerwine 400, race 11 of the season. Always a fun one there when we go to the Rock. Trey Bartow won that race last year. We'll see who gets it done this year. The Rockingham Speedway. Well, thank you guys so much for watching here tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Huge thanks to Matt Tuck for joining me here for the call of this one. And a huge congratulations to Laura Chung and Joe Rakowski. They get it done here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after 10 races. And on behalf of Matt Tuck, I will see you guys later. Oh, please.
The game, you and Bristol Motor Speedway is a generational beef.
Yes, it is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the one cup race I went there in real life was like the worst cup race of all time there. So, you know.
Yeah, the one over the fall. The
Yeah.
one over the fall. It's not even like you versus Bristol in the game. It's you versus Bristol Motor Speedway as a whole is like generational beef.